Explainer why an obstruction case against Trump was so difficult. Barr sent a 4-page letter to congressional leaders summarizing a report by U.S. Special Counsel Robert Mueller handed in on Friday, which remains confidential. Mueller was appointed to investigate whether Trump's campaign conspired with Russia to influence the 2016 election and to probe whether the president later unlawfully sought to obstruct the probe. Mueller vindicated Trump on the core question of Russian collusion, writing in his report that While Mueller stopped short of determining whether Trump obstructed justice, Barr concluded there was insufficient evidence to bring such a case. Following are some reasons why proving an obstruction case against Trump was so difficult and what may lay ahead. What did Mueller say about an obstruction case against Trump? Mueller said he did not reach a finding on whether Trump obstructed justice and set out evidence. Barr did not make this evidence public, noting only that Mueller said there were difficult factual and legal questions raised by an obstruction case. Mueller said while Barr, however, found there was insufficient evidence to establish an obstruction case against Trump. Why was it difficult to prove obstruction against Trump? A federal law makes it a crime to attempt to prove obstruction. Prosecutors must show an individual acted with a corrupt or improper motive, a specific intent to impede an investigation. Mueller's obstruction investigation likely focused on Trump's interactions with former FBI Director James Comey, legal experts said. According to Comey, in February 2017 Trump asked him to back off an investigation into National Security Advisor Michael Flynn over Flynn's contacts with Russia. Trump eventually. Some legal experts have said in the last year that Trump's intent was clearly to block an investigation, and that there was a strong obstruction of justice case to be made. But others have said that establishing that Trump acted with the corrupt intent of blocking the investigation would have been difficult. Trump could have argued, in an interview with NBC nightly news anchor Lester Holt that aired 2 days after the firing, Trump said he was thinking of this. But Trump also said in the NBC interview and in others that he fired Comey because he was incompetent, weakening a potential obstruction case, experts said. Why did Barr clear Trump of obstruction? An obstruction of justice case against Trump was also undermined by Mueller's findings that the Trump campaign did not conspire with Russians to interfere in the election. Obstruction of justice is usually coupled with some underlying wrongful act that is being covered up, experts said. Barr cited this shortcoming in his letter, saying that, while Barr's letter also notes that obstruction, like any crime, requires to be proven beyond a reasonable doubt in court. Barr also noted that many of the actions described in Mueller's report took obstruction of justice typically describe secret efforts to impede a court proceeding, and Barr may have viewed the public nature of Trump's acts as weakening the case against him. Could Congress pick up the obstruction investigation? Yes. Democrats took. U.S. House of Representatives Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer said in a joint statement on Sunday that the fact that Mueller had not cleared Trump of obstruction demonstrates. Could Congress bring an obstruction case against Trump? The U.S. Constitution empowers Congress to remove a president from office for high. In an impeachment proceeding, lawmakers have broad leeway to define obstruction of justice and are not bound by Barr's determination, legal experts said. But impeachment is a very political process, and appears unlikely because Trump's Republican Party controls the Senate. Some Democratic reporting by January Wolf. Editing by No